The Steelers have had a very active offseason so far, making a big-time addition in Darius Slay to help out their cornerback room, a big-time trade to get DK Metcalf to try and strengthen that receiving core, and they're still missing the most important position in football, the quarterback. And now, by the time I put this video out, maybe Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler, maybe Russell Wilson is back, maybe they do something in the draft to bring in, I don't know, Jackson Dart, maybe Shedeur Sanders gets there. We'll have to see. But we're going to be rebuilding this Pittsburgh Steelers team. It's a tough division. Got to compete against teams like the Ravens, of course. The AFC in general is just really strong right now. But even though we have our work cut out for us, we're going to try and bring this team back to the forefront of the NFL. They've won as many Super Bowls as anybody with 6. We're going to try to win a 7th, maybe an 8th, maybe a 9th. I know I haven't posted as many rebuilds this year. I've been focusing and having more fun on college football, but don't worry, I still have my fastball. And I guess, you know what? Even on my second channel, I'm really showing off that fastball because I'm doing a Colorado Rockies franchise. That link is going to be down in the description, as always, to my second channel, Bengal Plays. It's a full baseball channel, and I know people are saying already, like, oh, this series is over after the first episode. Apparently, I didn't upload Royals franchise at all last year. Still did 20-plus episodes, so if you're interested in a completely different series for me, still in the sports area, check out the link down below to Bengal Plays, check out Rocky's franchise, and it should be a fun one. But let's talk about this Steelers team. They lost Dan Moore. I say lost, it's like addition by subtraction in a way. He signed a massive contract to go to the Titans, but Troy Fautanu coming back from injury. We have Isaac Seumalo. I think that Mason McCormick could be a decent starting guard for us. He's a little bit older as a rookie, but there is definitely potential here. Also, that is... whose face scan does he have? That's somebody. Oh, who is that? My first thought was it looked like Brian Bulaga. I don't know. Looks fairly familiar. But we have him. We have Zach Frazier is trending towards being one of the better young centers in the league. I'd like to think that we can develop Broderick Jones. He's only 23 years old. Still a long way to go. Only normal development, but there's at least something there. So we'll see what we can do. Najee Harris is now a Charger, right? Going to be tough to keep up with all these moves. But DK Metcalf is the newest Pittsburgh Steeler. And yes, he's not the best receiver in the NFL, but he's a damn good one. I know he's not the best at going up and getting the football, but 95 spectacular catch is kind of ridiculous. But he's so good at getting down the field, being a vertical threat, spacing things out with the big play, big-time spectacular catch type receiver, and George Pickens also on this team. I feel like they're missing that slot option. Maybe Calvin Austin can develop into that. Some people are saying Roman Wilson, but I don't think Roman Wilson's really a slot. He is a little smaller, but his skill set does not say slot receiver to me necessarily. He played outside at Michigan. He was a healthy scratch at times last year. It was a little bit weird, but maybe there's something there. Pat Freiermuth, of course, and still looking for that quarterback. Defensively, it's a really solid group for the most part. Edge, insane. Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, Cole Holcomb, Patrick Queen up the middle. Of course, Peyton Wilson's got some potential, really good athlete in there as well. I love the secondary with Minka, of course, Longhorn legend Deshaun Elliott, Joey Porter Jr., and then bringing in a guy like Darius Slay over Dante Jackson is a huge upgrade. Beanie Bishop could be okay. And then the defensive line, I love Keanu Benton. Cam Hayward's great. He's just older. So we need to make some improvements really on the defensive line. Maybe in the secondary overall. I mainly like linebacker. I think edge is fine. Might end up being tough to keep all these guys with the contracts. But the big thing is finding that quarterback. It can't be Mason Rudolph. With these offseason rebuilds, it's always tough because if I want to load in the actual roster, I have to start from 2024, which means I can't help this team out in the draft. You have to simulate a season first, which is a bit of a challenge. And I know there are some people out there that really like to see the real draft class, and I haven't played this game very much. I haven't even used one, but they're typically not very good. And once you've seen it once, you've seen it 1,000 times, right? I personally feel like the auto-generated rookies is more fun because you don't know anything about the players. It's more of an unknown. In franchise, I think auto-generated rookies does make a lot of sense. It does. And I feel like that's just the best way to go about it. This quarterback class sucks, though. So maybe it's a good opportunity to download the most downloaded roster or draft class I didn't make a draft class this year. It's not my job, but I typically have. It was a lot of time and effort for, you know, oh, this has not been changed at all. Jalen Daniels at 3, brother. And they completely killed the download center, by the way. You can't see descriptions on anything. You can't really search for anything. You just have, here's 10. Figure it out. This is terrible. Everything about Madden 25 was just really not it for me this year. Jalen Milroe, Drew Aller in here. Yeah, Quinn Ewers at 3, Carson Beck at 4. I've got to use the auto-generated. This is a disaster. At least the new auto-generated draft class has some QBs. Not that I'm necessarily going to take one or be picking high enough to even get one of these guys, but at least we have the option now, maybe. Well, 2-5 at the midseason mark. That's not exactly what we were shooting for. Giants 1-6. This game's not realistic at all. Should be the other way around, obviously. But obviously, we are struggling without a quarterback. Notably very, very bad. Now, it's going to be interesting to see the way that we actually extend players here, because there are 17 that need extensions. Darius Slay signed a 1 year, but this is, a little bit weird, of course, with the offseason roster. Definitely do want Darius Slay back. He's 33, but he's still good. He's going to take a big hit here. I'm going to be paying, a lot of money for like an 84, 85-year-old, or 85 overall. 85-year-old corner would be interesting. Probably don't look a ton like Darius Slay, but it'd be 34, probably an 85, 84-ish overall. I'll offer him. That might just end up being a franchise tag, which will be expensive, but it may be worth it. Jalen Warren probably not paying, probably not worth paying, and he doesn't really have any interest in being here. I'd give him a 2-year deal, but I'm not paying more than $7 million for Jalen Warren. I'll probably just go out and either sign a different running back or draft one. I didn't really take a look at the running backs in this group. It seems like the strength of the class, corner, quarterback, wide receiver. QB is definitely a position we're focusing on a lot. But I don't think it ever makes sense to make it the focus position. Do want to look at corner, because when Darius Slay is gone, which inevitably will happen, whether it's this year or next, we're going to need some younger and ultimately better options down the line. Slay is going to regress in a big way. So, is there anybody we can go ahead and sign here? I guess we're trying to reset a little bit. I don't want to say playing for the tank, but Joe Flacco is the best option at QB. Just not really something I want to do. So, we'll simulate. We will set our focus players for the draft. I'm probably going to choose 3 quarterbacks, just get their full ratings. If there's a top 5 talent at quarterback in this class, we'll probably consider making a move up for one. And it might not even have to be a move up for one at this rate. We're 3-5. I've had worse seasons to start rebuilds, but this isn't a very good one. And the Steelers playbook is not simulating well. A loss to the Commanders, a big loss to the Ravens. If we can beat the Browns, I'm going to be feeling a little bit better about it, because typically this defense does simulate fairly well. The offense is just doing absolutely nothing, but we're probably just going to simulate to the end of the season after this. So we do know that these top 3 quarterbacks, 60% scouted. I'm probably just going to do those 3. It's going to be good to know about the top QBs in the class. There is another one down the board a little bit in Eddie Strong. There's also Kirk Dickinson. So there are more quarterbacks to potentially look at. Plus minus 162. Where did Eddie Strong come from? Looks like Krispy Kreme taking a look at him, but I don't know. He was down the board significantly and is now clearly the biggest riser. Typically, these guys are not very good. Intriguing, but not very good. I'm going to look at those top 3 quarterbacks, and we'll have a pretty good idea if any of those players are worth drafting. If they're not, we'll obviously pivot, consider something else. But let's simulate to the end of Season 1. Probably going to win about 7 games if I had to bet, which is going to be 11th overall maybe. We could win a few more or lose a few more. We'll see. I'd prefer losing. We're not going to be a playoff team. So let me pick as high as possible, please. Okay, that's kind of what happened. 5 wins, man. Okay. Number 31 in offensive points per game. and number 32 in pass yards per game. That makes sense with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. 20 touchdowns, though. Wow. 25 picks. Was sacked 48 times. It's got to be an offensive line issue. Mason Rudolph not producing. That doesn't compute. Surely it's the offensive line. DK Metcalf, 2 touchdowns. Pickens had 9. Metcalf just shy of 1,000 yards. And then defensively, we were on the field a lot, so we had a lot of time to accumulate statistics here. 20 TFLs for TJ Watt. He barely had double-digit sacks. And 6 picks for Queen and Darius Slay. I could see Darius Slay maybe keeping his overall a little bit more, but he's still going to regress. Maybe just not to an 84, but maybe an 86. Something in that neighborhood. Again, not a playoff team, not a big surprise. We will simulate to the offseason. We'll check out these quarterbacks, see if that's going to be the way we proceed. Winning only 5 games, we should be picking at about the top 5 of the draft. So we're going to have a really good opportunity to get our quarterback of the future. That may involve trading picks in order to make that happen, in order to secure our future. But I'll do whatever it takes if the QB is good enough, as the Lions and Chiefs squared off in the Super Bowl, and the Lions got smashed. Joe Burrow, MVP. Puka Nacua, Offensive Player of the Year. Micah Parsons, Defensive Player of the Year. Jaden Daniels and Edgerrin Cooper are your Rookies of the Year. But here in the game, the Chiefs do pull off the three-peat. Okay, what do we need to do here in the offseason? Darius Slay should still be here. He's down to an 85 overall. He's likely going to decline my extension offer. But I guess because his overall dropped, now he's more interested in signing that initial offer. So I gave him the same offer. I would have franchise tagged him. 1 year, $17 million, I think is fine. It's an overpay for his ability, but it's fine. Jalen Warren's going to decline this, and that's okay. I don't think I'm going to franchise tag him. Oh, it's under 10 million. I might as well. I thought the price tag would be over 12 million, to be honest. If you don't know how the franchise tag works, I think it's like the top 5 contracts at the position averaged, unless it's changed. I think that's about how they do it. Okay, so it's the average of the top 5 salaries at the player's position, of course, for the current year, or, I didn't know about this part, 120% of his previous salary, whichever is greater. Looking in the draft here, the Browns won 3 games, as did Jacksonville, so we're going to be picking at, number 3 overall for the AFC. I can't see NFC teams in here. So we're not guaranteed to be top 3. We're not even, I guess, guaranteed to be top 5. We'll go ahead and find out in a minute. Oh, okay. Dean Lowry mentorship. How did I even get into this? Let's find out about these quarterbacks. Are they actually any good? Okay. Tony Barkley is the best. He's a round 1 to 2 talent, which isn't bad for a QB. He's a Fresno State guy, though. David Carr. Derek Carr. I feel like there's another Fresno State quarterback. Jake Hayner, I guess, right? But I don't know. Do we like Tony Barkley? The accuracy is fairly good. Throw under pressure is good. And then physically, he's got elite to great throw power. He seems to be a generally pretty good athlete. Only 22 years old. He might be top of the list right now. I need to find out about the other QBs, though. Trey Callahan is a true round 1 talent. Ooh. Green is a top 5 talent. Ohio State guy. Currently projected at the end of the first round. Really good zone coverage. So could potentially move back to safety. But if we can get him down the board, we're going to be in business. And Damian Sally, also a top 5 talent. A little bit more well-rounded. Maybe not the same type of top-end speed. But another really solid player. And again, projected to go fairly late down the board. If we can somehow move down, get a steal at quarterback, these corners, they're round 1 talents all over the place. We don't necessarily need a top 5 talent, even though, they're guaranteed to be the highest overalls. It feels like oftentimes the top 5 guys don't have the best dev traits. Dev trait feels basically completely random. But we're going to do advanced scouting on the other quarterbacks, see if we can get closer to an idea about, whether or not these guys can be our star of the future at the quarterback position. I think we're done trying to negotiate with our own free agents. We can let these guys walk. There's nobody particularly interesting in here at all. Maybe Corliss Waitman, but it's not really too big of a deal. We will advance to free agency, which shouldn't have anybody in it because it's 2025 free agency, but I don't know. It's bizarre. I mean, these guys were 2025 free agents, I suppose. Some of them, maybe all of them. But I mean, Kamara got extended. Rasul Douglas. We're going to be signing nobody here. Probably. Let's look at the team. Let's see how development worked. We're an 86 overall. It really is just getting this quarterback. We're going to be so much better. I think the O-line is mostly fine. I think receiver is good. We could use maybe a slot option. And then defensively, Highsmith now, superstar X Factor. We're missing something on the defensive line. Beanie Bishop up to star dev. I just feel like getting even like a marginal upgrade over Dean Lowry is going to be more expensive than it's worth. We're looking for a 3-4 defensive end. Like Joey Bosa is not really a fit for me here. He is 280 though. Like I guess I could rationalize it. All right. I mean, we have enough money. If we can offer Joey Bosa like a 2-year deal, we're going to be paying a rookie quarterback salary anyway, probably. So it's going to be fairly cheap. Let's see if we can bring in Joey Bosa. It's unlikely. It's unlikely. He heads to Atlanta. Where did Joey Bosa sign in real life? The Buffalo Bills? Pretty sure. We do get Ryan Wright. It's a long-term deal for a punter. He's only 25 years old. Punter now just will be taken care of the entire time. Nobody's offering on these guys, so he can pretty much get it, steals. They're only 25 years old. They should stick around and develop maybe a little bit. Private workouts. Again, we said 2 quarterbacks here. It looks like Lane Robinson's now around 1 to 2 talent. Okay, so that maybe gives us another option. And you don't necessarily always need to take the highest overall, but it's usually not the worst idea. There's a running back in here, Malcolm Malone. It's a strong name. Does he have a juke move? Because if so, I am in. It's D juke move. Okay, I'm out. Couple running backs here. Again, we are kind of looking for a ball carrier version for Sheldon Dupree. He and George Davis don't look too bad here. If any of these guys can actually run, maybe I would consider it. Yes, they're probably the only running backs worth looking at. Let's see. Are any of these guys actually good? George Davis is 23 years old at running back. Does have electric speed, though. Ran 4.28 at his pro day with elite change of direction. He is old, but he looks well-rounded and really, really fast. Now, Sheldon Dupree, on the other hand, is from Running Back University, Wisconsin, basically. And they've had so many good ones come through there. But, I mean, Auburn in the conversation. Where else? I mean, Texas, obviously, hook 'em horns. Excuse me. Texas, obviously. USC has had some good ones over the years, but not so much recently. Am I missing a big school that could be in the conversation? I mean, Ohio State recently, but of course you have like all the top schools recently. Alabama, obviously. People are going to be, how did you not mention Alabama sooner? I don't know. Sheldon Dupree can also run pretty well. I'd honestly like to take a look at both of these guys. They're both a little bit older. Is there a quarterback I can just cross off the list? Like Eddie Strong here. He's 5'11", 206. He's only got decent throw power. He's not that accurate. He's not really a strong choice to be drafted by us. We're going to get KJ Hammond. He's got worse awareness, but maybe something we can develop here. I don't love the look of him either, to be honest. I'm probably just not going to draft either of those QBs. So let's just go ahead and cross those guys off the list. We'll look at the 2 running backs down the board, and we'll look at, I don't know, just one other standout. George Davis with the elite change of direction, jumping, great speed. Definitely feels like there's something there. We're going to look at Owen Steele, I guess. Now, let's do Markel Spearman. He's a receiver. We could use a third receiver, I guess. Steele's only, 256. We don't really need another edge. So those will be my 3 players. 2 running backs and a receiver down the board. And we do have trade offers for Cole Holcomb. We do have a backup option. Does Michael Gallup not have a profile picture anymore? Tyrese Knight we could get instead of Holcomb. I might actually prefer that, to be honest. But can we get a pick? because I would probably prefer a pick. Let's see if we can get a pick for Cole Holcomb. Okay, we are trading Cole Holcomb and a 3rd round pick, as well as a 5th this year, 7th in 2027, for a 2nd and 4th rounder from the Tampa Bay Bucks. We have Peyton Wilson ready to go. We don't really need Cole Holcomb. He's 29 years old. He's going to be regressing. Peyton Wilson is ready to step into that starting role. Might as well get a pick, which could be ammunition to move up, or, as I didn't check out the mock drafts, just another pick where we can grab a good player. So we are currently picking at number 5. We can assume these top couple of teams will not be considering a quarterback. George Davis is a top 5 talent, by the way. He'll probably end up being my pick. We can assume the Jags and Bears, Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams, will not consider a QB. The Panthers might, but I think the Browns certainly will. The problem with that, the Browns are in division. I want to jump them for a quarterback. And in order to do that, we'll have to make a phone call to the Chicago Bears. They have number 34 and 36 in this draft. I want at least 34. I probably want 36 as well. So give me number 5, number 42 in there. This is not going to go through, obviously. This makes no sense. And they have basically no cap room, which means I can't really add a player in here to kind of sweeten the deal. They can't afford to take on really any of these contracts. Beanie Bishop, maybe? I'd love to trade Brandon Eccles. I imagine he has no value. Beanie Bishop might seem like a weird trade guy, but he's 2 years left on his deal. He's fairly young, should have some value. I mean, he's only 25. And there are good corners in this draft that I think will be cheaper. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a big-time trade here. So there are going to be a lot of moving parts. I would give a first-round pick in 2027, maybe. And I might even have to just add that on top of it. This is a lot. But it'd be 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and Beanie Bishop to move up to 2 while securing 2 second-rounders. And that's not going to be accepted. I will say the trade value for Beanie Bishop is just non-existent, which means he's just not going to be involved here. I will trade 5, again, 42, and I'd like to do a 3rd. That would be ideal for 2 and 34. How close is that? Still not really that close. I really would like to hold on to 37. That would be my preference. How about a second-round pick in the future? It's closer, but it's still not great. That number 2 overall pick is holding so much value. But the trade I'm going to end up doing, it's giving up a lot, but it's a first this year, number 5, a first in 2027, and a 3rd next year for number 2 overall and a second-round pick this year from Chicago, number 34. That should guarantee our quarterback of the future. Jacksonville goes with Denzel Carlisle, a right tackle at number 1. We are on the board. I have not actually made a decision here between Tony Barkley and Lane Robinson, because Lane Robinson, just jumped into being a round 1 to 2 talent, right? Let's compare the two directly. So Robinson is worse short throw accuracy, same medium, better deep, worse throw on the run, same throw under pressure, same break sack, way better play action. Carrying doesn't really matter. It's going to come down to physical tools, I would say. He is 22. He's got great throw power, elite strength, decent speed. It really is just going to end up being a 50-50. Will we make the right decision? They're both 22 years old. I would say Tony Barkley is the better overall athlete. The deep ball is not quite as good, but I think he's going to end up being the pick. This guy's got ABBA, though. What a legendary group. But I think Tony Barkley is our dancing queen. He's got a little bit of higher upside with that arm. Tony Barkley is the pick. I went with arm strength over deep accuracy. I think we're going to be able to develop that accuracy. Only 22. It's a little Dancing Queen reference for you. He is ranked number 39 in the draft. We took him at 2. We knew he was not going to be a top 5 talent. We knew he was around 1 to 2 guy. He does have hidden dev. 94 throw power, 83 speed, good athlete overall, big arm. Taking a Fresno State quarterback somewhat scares me, even though that actually doesn't matter at all. Lane Robinson was Virginia Tech. We could have had the next Michael Vick. Which, you know what? Maybe it was good that we avoided that. Okay, well, I am a little bit worried about some of the players we want not being available in the second round. If we miss out on Matt Green, it's kind of okay. I would say that George Davis is probably the top guy we want, but Sheldon Dupree is also a round 1 type talent, so it's not a bad pick. And there are great corners down the board here. Who are you? Chuck McGee? I'll tell you, Chuck is a great name for a corner. Great name. Chuck McGee is all-time Hall of Fame. 6'3", 182. All of the top 5 talents are corners, except for George Davis. So if we want to take a corner, we don't really even need to be at the top of the draft at all. So we can certainly simulate into round 2 and feel comfortable about it. Here's my only holdup there, is I would be slightly worried that a team at the back end of the first round might consider a running back. We have 34, we have 37, we have 42. I would love to move, let's say, 42 and a 4, plus maybe a future pick to move into the first round. Maybe a team like the Lions, I think, would be somebody that is not obviously going to consider a running back. They're at 31. Can we potentially move up even higher than that? Like 27 wouldn't be the worst. But obviously, the higher up in the draft you go, the harder it's going to be to trade for these picks. And I don't want to give up a ton of value. Okay, this is the trade we're making. Roman Wilson is gone, which isn't the best move for our finances. He's got 3 years left. Calvin Austin only has 1 year left. But we're also acquiring a backup quarterback, Dresser Wynn, because if you run out of name ideas, Patrick, Paul, John, whatever, too basic, just look at some furniture around the house, and that's a decent option. Are trading a second-round pick, number 40-something, right, 42, a 4th this year, a 3rd in 2027, and a 4th next year to get number 28. So we move back into the first round, and I'm hoping that running back's going to be available. It's weird to see a trade up prior to, actually knowing who's going to be there. And it seems like every running back is on the board, right? We could even go with Eddie Strong. So Malone is here. Just doesn't look as good as George Davis. I traded up for a reason. George Davis is a top 5 talent. He is 23 years old already, but we have a year to develop him behind Jaylen Warren, and then he can be the starter. George Davis from San Diego State is the number 1 ranked player in the draft. That's pretty good. Dangerous open field juke move. Spin move creates problems for defenders. Shows good balance to run through tackles. He does have hidden dev. 93 speed, 92 change of direction, and agility. Again, he is already 23. But looks to be a very good player overall. The number 1 player in the draft. It could be a weak draft class, but can't complain about getting the number 1 player in the draft in George Davis. As we move in round number 2, we pick at 34, 37. And it honestly could be back-to-back corners, right? Because we know about the top 5 talents in the draft. I mean, really, there are 3 top 5 talents at corner. Sally's the obvious pick here because he's going to go earlier. He's the youngest, 21, 22, and then 23. Byron Hurts in there as well. He's the smallest, but decent value. We also could consider in this range, by the way, I thought there was a better defensive tackle. Maybe he's off the board now. Just round 3 to 4 for Jared next. We are going to go Damian Sally, though. 21 years old. Very well-rounded. Elite acceleration. Not the best speed ever, but a good slot corner potentially. Could replace Beanie Bishop down the line. Also, maybe enough speed to play on the boundary. He's the number 5 player in the draft. We took him at 34. Only normal dev, a little bit disappointing there. And his speed isn't phenomenal at a 91. And he's got maybe like the strangest mullet I've ever seen. I don't know how he's even doing that. All right. And we are back on the clock. Do we just go with the guaranteed top 5 talent here? Here's a 6'4" corner, though, Darrell Huntington. I think we have to go with the guaranteed top 5 talents. I think that's going to be the way to do it. Feels stupid to do anything else. Not going to trade down. Going to go Chuck McGee here. He's probably the number 2 player in the draft. Okay, number 3. I thought with his man coverage might be rated a little bit higher. Number 3 is still good. He's got hidden dev, 93 speed. 91 acceleration, skills obviously quite good. A man, B press, B hit power, B block shed, B zone coverage. Really well rounded. Could eventually see him starting, of course, at corner. Now the question becomes, do we move back into the second round for another cornerback? Well, Byron Hurts has A press, B zone, B man. Oh, great speed. He's probably the second best player in the class. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and make that move. The flexibility to move corners around. I know we have Joey Porter Jr. Somebody can move back to safety. Maybe the normal dev that we just drafted. I don't know that Deshaun Elliott is a long-term solution for us. So let's try and get in position for Byron Hurts. Where is he expected to go? Like, he might not last very much longer. Maybe 15 spots down the board. I would say maybe the Saints at 45. This could be a trade Beanie Bishop type of spot. They probably are looking for a corner with Paulson Adebo headed to the Giants. So let's try and get this 45th overall pick. Probably will mostly hold on to future picks, but could add a 4. And it's going to be a corner here. If they take Brandon Eccles, that'd be phenomenal. They have no interest. That makes sense. It's going to be Beanie Bishop. Going to keep Darius Slay. And they don't really even like Beanie Bishop. What about Darius Slay? They have any interest? They do have interest in Darius Slay. Well, I think our decision's been made. He's only going to get worse. We are trying to play for the future. They're going to make me add like a bunch of 7s. I guess our draft is pretty much going to be over here. Darius Slay a 4th and 3 7s to move up to 45. And hopefully the corner is going to be there. Looks to be. There was a corner drafted, Cole Henley. And there was another corner drafted as well, but not our guy. Byron Hurts, welcome to Pittsburgh. From Houston, he's the number 2 player of the draft. He's got hidden dev, 93 speed, 95 acceleration. Obviously, good ability as well. B block shed's quite good. And I think our draft is over. I don't even think we have a 7th anymore. So we were very, very, very aggressive in this draft, going after players we wanted. But as I say, this is my expression. I made this up. Bird in the hand is worth more than 2 in the bush. What does that mean? Well, it means that here in the draft, if we can guarantee good players now, it's worth more than potentially good players later. So we were aggressive. We got what we knew were good players. How many times are you going to see a bunch of top 5 players in the draft all down the board? 78 for George Davis, 77 for Sally, 78 for McGee, 78 for Hurts. And our quarterback, Tony Barkley, was not rated especially highly, but a 74 overall is not bad. Number 0 for a quarterback is kind of insane. He's got a paranoid sense of pressure. Concerns me. Medium accuracy is not great. Need to improve that. But overall, decent player. We're going to do the offseason drill with him, get him up to a 75 overall, which should reveal whether or not he is superstar dev. In terms of the rest of the players in the NFL here, we got all the best players. 1, 2, 3 in the draft. Matt Green did go in the first round to the Bills. He was a 77. Michael Mills, very good value in the second. I mean, there were so many good corners. Like Lorenzo Thomas was a 77 overall as well. Hidden dev. I mean, this draft class was pretty well-rounded. Like, no super elite talents, but, you know, a few 77s, few 76s, a lot of 75s. I think we did pretty well. All right, first look at Tony Barkley. Wearing number 0. What's that arm look like? All right, probably got to get it out a little bit earlier. We know he has good mobility, though. Is this our QB of the future? I'll tell you, that's a long release. I think we drafted the righty Tebow. Although Tim Tebow, legend of the game. So can't be too mad about a locker room guy like that. But does he love Jesus enough? Barkley, with the power of the Lord. All right. Take a look at George Davis. We're number 21. Great running back number. Growing up a Giants fan, that was, big Tiki Barber guy. Wearing number 21. I liked a lot of players wearing number 21. Kevin Garnett with the Timberwolves. Garnett was a monster, of course. This isn't a basketball channel, though. But yeah, you can definitely feel that speed. We got the big Darnell Washington blocking for us as well. But George Davis is just going to be untouched. Every time. No one has the speed to catch up to Georgie. Okay, Tony Barkley, if we get him up to a 75 overall here, I'd like to see a plus getting an attribute or getting an ability spot here, which would guarantee superstar dev or higher. It's going to be star. We're going to move Damian Sally back to free safety. I don't know what he's doing with his hair again. You know what? Do whatever you want. Whatever. But we've got a bunch of good young corners, a good group of 4, and Brandon Eccles also. Sally can be a good backup free safety. We got Miles Killebrew. I like our linebackers. Malik Harrison in here as well. Jesse Luketa. We have Nick, brother of Nate Herbig. It's maybe the best way to say that. You say this name a little bit too quickly. I might not be on YouTube very much longer. This is the team for season number 2. It looks pretty good. Broderick Jones is developing a little bit. I like our receiving core. Calvin Austin in a contract prove-it type year. Still would like to upgrade on Dean Lowry. I don't know that we have the capability of doing that. I think we could potentially trade Beanie Bishop at the deadline and maybe try to get defensive line help. But when Cam Hayward retires, it's not just Dean Lowry that needs upgrading. It's going to end up being 2 spots on our defensive line, which makes me wonder, is a move to a 4-3 in our future? Highsmith and Watt to defensive end, Benton at D tackle, then we just need 1, and then Wilson, Queen, and Harrison potentially at linebacker. That's an option. We are 4-2 here, stopping it just shy of the midseason mark. Our defense is great, and we're running the ball really, really effectively. Not really throwing it too much, but that's okay. Rookie quarterback, we don't really want to lean on him. We want to ease him into things, right? And we don't know dev traits yet. Barkley has star. That's not shocking. Don't know Davis. He and Warren, I would say, are splitting carries, but it's probably mostly Jalen Warren. It probably is. Calvin Austin may be contributing from the slot, maybe not. Sally is playing in the nickel for us right now. I probably don't even want that, to be honest. We'll move him down. But the pass rush looks great. What are our dev traits defensively? We don't know. I think I'm going to move Beanie Bishop down to 4 right now. He is an 81 overall, but the rookies are 79 and 80 overall. And potentially better dev traits. So we're at least going to experiment and see what that looks like. Hayward playing up to a 90. I do think I want to trade for some type of defensive line help. We have 15 players ready to negotiate extensions. We have $128 million, though, in order to do it. TJ Watt, George Pickens, Jalen Warren. Could be a trade candidate right now. Deshaun Elliott, who wants to be here. Calvin Austin, Sayamalo. Ooh. 5th-year option on Broderick Jones. So that's a lot of money. I mean, TJ Watt's going to be $30 million a year, which is not something I'm super excited about having to pay, but he is very good. It's probably even going to be more than $30 million. Will Jalen Warren have any value? Okay, Eric Armstead, Brian Brzee is not bad at all. I mean, yes. Brian Brzee is an exceptional addition here. Can I get maybe another running back? Kendre Miller, maybe? Tavares Hicks has star dev or better. I don't think they're going to want to make that happen, but there's something here. Could have a really good young running back combo. George Davis, Hicks, of course, we're going to add Brzee right now. huge upgrade on the D-line. What about a 4th next year? It's closer. I could use a receiver. I don't really want to trade Calvin Austin. Do have Jason Thomas with hidden dev as a rookie. That maybe was a 7th round pick down the board for us. We held on to one of those. But all of the players that we have are not going to have any value. And I'm not trading Darnell Washington. Connor Hayward is going to have no value. I can't imagine the Saints want Mason Rudolph, but it would be a nice salary cap dump for us, so I am going to try and include him in the deal. We're going to be fine with Tony Barkley at QB. What about another 4? 2028 4. That trade's going to be accepted. That's a fantastic trade for us. That is a fantastic trade. I don't know why Jaylen Warren has so much value. He's fine, and our running game might take a little bit of a hit now with the overall drop-off, but it's not significant. George Davis has so much potential for us. Don't know his dev trait, but he's ready to start. We'll know his dev trait here in about a week or two. Really well-rounded, really fast. A lot of catching traits as well, which is interesting. We are in a phenomenal position. Brzee is a great add. We're going to move him over to left end over Dean Lowry. And we will potentially need to give him a contract extension in the very near future. That also is like, I said Brian Bulaga. It's somebody. It looks kind of like TJ Lang slightly, I guess. I can't figure out exactly what it looks like. It's the same face scan, not face scan for Mason McCormick. Who is that? I know you guys are going to tell me in the comment section below. I'm eager to know. So I actually don't think we need to do anything else. I think we're golden here. Just extend the players that we do have and hopefully go on a playoff run here. TJ Watt is quite expensive, but he's still so good. I'd like to take the money down slightly with the extra year. TJ Watt is back for 4. George Pickens, we want a long-term extension. I thought he was going to be closer to 20 mil. It's not actually as bad as I thought. And George Pickens is back. Hook'em horns. Deshaun Elliott. I'm more interested probably with a 2-year deal for the 28-year-old, and Deshaun Elliott is back. Calvin Austin's going to be asking for more than I want to give him probably. Not terrible for a 2-year deal, but he's probably going to decline this. I'm going to up the money slightly. It's like 7 mil per year. I think that's fine. Sayamalo, I think we can give a 2-year deal. He's a fine starter right now, but he wants a little bit more money. Malik Harrison, no real interest. DeMarvin Leal, no. Again, we'll have to pick up the 5th-year options on Jones and Brzee if we want to go that route, which we probably do. And we will simulate here to, I guess, like focus players, which is, I think, week 13 now. So take a look at some of those. We've offered contract extensions to everyone who I actually want to extend. And I think we're going to be golden. This might be a playoff team. And we're now 5-5. The Jaylen Warren drop-off has been significant, to say the least. We have one more week before focus players. I do want to extend Isaac Sayamalo. He is back. So that was like the last real big one. Other than that, it's kind of just depth. Our offense is the thing struggling right now. Justin Fields with the Jets now. That's right. That's crazy. Davis has, unfortunately, only star. It's not bad, but it obviously could be better. We still don't know Hurts and McGee. We lose to the Packers. Oh, man. It was too good to be true. There's a quarterback at the top. Maybe it's time to pivot. No, I'm just kidding. But I think maybe something on the defensive line could be good. That's where we're going to need help. I mean, I don't really want someone who's 254 pounds off the edge. Or, well, not even off the edge. Playing inside probably for me. But I'm not sure what we're going to be able to find. We'll probably look at defensive tackles in the offseason. But right now, we've picked 3 defensive ends. Might be asking them to play a little bit light in our 3-4. The cat isn't loving it. She's like, you got to play guys closer to 290. And we finish 7-10. Basically middle of the pack everywhere. That's not great. But we'll check out stats and awards here. Not a bad rookie year for Tony Barkley. About 4,200 yards passing, 36 touchdowns to 14 picks. The running game was obviously not great after trading Jalen Warren. George Davis really did not develop very much as the starter, unfortunately. But sometimes that happens. Really, in Madden, their overalls need to be high if they're going to be a good running back. As Calvin Austin in the slot tore things up. Maybe I'll put DK Metcalf there as a big slot. 6'4", 235 is crazy. Like, George Pickens is a big receiver at 6'3", 200. And Metcalf is taller and 35 pounds heavier. Insane. Broderick Jones was terrible at left tackle. And then defensively, 10 TFLs for Peyton Wilson, 13 for Brian Brzee in the TFL department, 12 for Highsmith. Quarterback sacks, Watt 16, Highsmith 14, Hayward 13 and a half. Now that is production. Did not force a lot of interceptions, but we definitely put pressure on the opposing quarterback. But we are not a playoff team. Okay, our salary cap room just jumped to $102 million. As you can see in the top right, that's why. Cam Hayward has retired. So I guess it's a good thing we got Brian Brzee, as we saw Niners-Ravens Super Bowl rematch. Barkley is up to superstar dev. Definitely will take that. And defensively, both of our corners had star dev. So it's a huge loss on the defensive line with no more Cam Hayward. And we could move to a 4-3. Brzee and Benton at D-tackle. Highsmith and Watt at defensive end. And then we're just looking for a linebacker. It's really just, okay, we're going to be flexible with the talent. If there's a really good defensive end that we can add, either through free agency or the draft, we'll upgrade that way. If not, we will hopefully add a big-time linebacker. Tony Barkley is your Offensive Rookie of the Year. Love to see that. Puka wins another Offensive Player of the Year. Aiden Hutchinson, Defensive Player of the Year. Patrick Mahomes with an MVP. Renardo Green with Super Bowl MVP. Florida State corner for the 49ers. And we'll move into the re-sign period. I kind of feel like we've re-signed everybody. Am I missing anything in here? Maybe I am. Brzee a fifth-year option. We are going to pick that up. Broderick Jones, fifth-year option. Going to continue to try and develop him. He's only 25, up near an 80 overall. We've got a lot of money, actually. Got an unreal amount of money. Maybe Cam Hayward retiring is a blessing in disguise, although it's not. I mean, we're unlikely to be able to replace him with a super high-level player here. Pacheco's a 90. Jalen Phillips is not the type of linebacker I'm looking for. Andrew Van Ginkel maybe is a bit closer. He's kind of like a hybrid type player. That could be in consideration. Anything here on the D-line, like Hargrave, maybe? Devontae Wyatt, maybe? What does Wyatt want, price-wise? Kind of a lot, but we have money. That's not really the big problem. Although if we want him, it's going to have to be a 2-year deal. And it's not like he's that good. I might lean Andrew Van Ginkel. He is 31 years old. He's somewhat expensive. It's another Wisconsin guy to add to the team. That built-in chemistry. All right, AVG could be a nice pickup. Give us some flexibility on defense. And we've signed nobody. More teams in on Van Ginkel. Devontae Wyatt has probably decided to sign elsewhere. Am I missing anybody else here? Like, do we need a kicker? Did Chris Boswell retire? Probably not. Receivers are good. The O-line looks mainly good. Just need to develop these guys. Could use a third tight end maybe. And then defensively, I mean, everyone's where they need to be. Chris Boswell's still here. No, we just have a ton of money. We did not get Andrew Van Ginkel either. So our problems still exist. Caden Ellis could maybe help us out. I'll offer him a 2-year deal. Falcons franchise legend. I don't really love the options here. All right, we do get Caden Ellis, though. So some added flexibility. I'm not sure if we're going to move to a 4-3 or not. Obviously, I think a lot of that's going to depend on what happens in this draft. I do feel good about our potential. It's just, are we going to play up to our potential? Well, per usual, the top 5 talents in this draft. 4 corners. Okay. 4 corners. We don't need corner. There is a first-round talent at defensive end at 274. Kelsheem Wheatley is also a first-round talent at 304 at defensive tackle. So we can absolutely get better here. And I don't know, we'll look to add something here off the edge, I suppose, or inside. Maybe look at, it's going to be a linebacker or a defensive tackle. I mean, that's going to be it, pretty much. Okay, NFL draft, we pick at 11. Not going to make a move up here. We don't really have a ton of draft capital. We've moved that, around a lot. We still could get a top 5 talent if we wanted to. But wow. The defensive tackle and the bigger defensive end are both off the board. Wheatley was picked at 5th. Not ideal. So, unlucky. We need to pivot now. And it's still probably going to be a first-round talent. I mean, Shaquille Jordan is a true round 1 talent. 6'4", 253. A pursuit, A tackle, B block shed. He's not the best athlete. He's light to play 3-4 end. There's no question. But his strength is good. He's a first-round talent. We're going to draft him. He's got a Hall of Fame NBA name, Shaquille Jordan. Rank number 13, got him at 11, normal dev. He's not great. Into round 2. See if there's a top 5 talent still on the board. There is not. There is a round 1 to 2 talent defensive tackle, though, Jeff Walker. B block shed, A finesse moves, B tackle from Bama with elite speed. I think we've easily found our pick here. Only 21 years old as well. This might be the best pick of the draft for us right now. Or it certainly would be. He's ranked number 30, got him at 43, so the overall isn't quite the same. He set the state record for bench press reps in high school. All right, never seen that one before. Got hidden dev, 88 strength, 78 speed, 80 acceleration. We might have found ourselves a starter right there in Jeff Walker. Shaquille Jordan is a 75. And normal dev. He's got good block shed, good power moves. He's just not the best athlete, and it's not even that bad of an athlete, but he's just not having that good dev trait, which certainly hurts. Jeff Walker now does have hidden dev. He's a 74 overall, but good athlete at that size, especially 81 finesse moves with decent block shedding already, and only 21 years old. That's a starter at defensive end for us. We are going to move him over. Now, I think Jordan could be in contention to move down as well. Walker is a very heavy defensive end, but in a 3-4, like, he's not, right? Basically, people always ask this. They don't fully understand what it means as he goes down to a 72 at defensive end. Basically, 3-4 is 3 down linemen and then 4 linebackers. But the outside linebackers in a 3-4 are typically pass rushers because on a given down, you're typically sending 4. Sometimes you'll send 3, rarely. Sometimes you'll send more than 4, obviously, a blitz. But typically you're sending 4. So in a 3-4, your outside linebackers typically getting after the QB, but can drop as well. In a 4-3, those defensive ends are basically getting after the QB every single play. And a 4-3 end typically needs to be a little bit bigger because they're not ever really dropping. They need to set the edge. But in a 3-4, there are a bunch of different players that can potentially do that. So anyway, typically you want bigger 3-4 defensive ends because they're playing inside the tackles. So you're not really going to be 250 pounds in doing that. Walker, the overall looks a lot worse here. I might move Keanu Benton over, but he's got nose tackle ability, and he's only got 70 speed. If we can develop Walker, he's going to be a better defensive end long-term with his athleticism, but that might be a tough task, actually developing him. We'll see. So we're back. Day 2 of recording. Took a little bit of a break. Just got back from a doctor's appointment, and I didn't know I had an allergy test scheduled. I had no clue, and maybe I should have known this, but I had no idea. It turns out all an allergy test is they stab you 35 times in your arms with different allergens to see if you react to them. No idea. I'd show you guys, but I have blood marks all over my arms, but unfortunately do not have an open carry license in Texas, so we're going to keep the guns concealed. It's interesting. I had no idea that that's what that was, but This is the team, in case you guys were curious, which you should be, because things are coming along. Yesteryear, last season, was a growing season, but we are seeing development. George Davis is going to be probably mid to high 80s at some point this season. Mid 80s, I think, for sure. Our quarterback is now up to superstar development in Tony Barkley after winning Offensive Rookie of the Year with that number 0. Deep accuracy kind of needs the most work, but overall, there's a lot to like here. It's that awareness rating that's really holding him back, but he could end up being fantastic for us as we look to the defensive side of the ball. I wish we had a better option overall-wise than Jeff Walker, but I feel like given his skill set, his age, hopefully superstar development, we have potential with Jeff Walker. His overall is not as good as it could be, but I just think his skill set makes the most sense at defensive end. So this is the team that we're running out there. It is quite good overall. I think Hurts is going to be CB2, in fact, and then Beanie Bishop can be CB4. May end up trading Beanie Bishop. We will make that decision. I thought about doing it before, but he's still under contract for a couple of years. We don't necessarily have to, or we didn't have to at the time. Final year under contract now in 2026. If we can get his value up, and it's not going to be by much if he's, barely playing. He might start in the slot. I mean, that could happen. Maybe we'll do that. And then we will have something that we can trade. And then I guess Walker's going to be a backup rush end. But it's a pretty good-looking team overall. Calvin Austin's coming along. Thomas ended up having star dev as to be expected. And we will move into this 2026 season, hitting training camp and hopefully getting a dev trade upgrade somewhere. Tony Barkley would be nice to X Factor, but the one I really care about would be George Davis at running back up to superstar. That would be awesome, but seems kind of unlikely, I would say. It's nice, though. Well, we were 1-6 at the midseason mark. Our offense is the second worst in the league. We score 16 points per game, or 17 points per game. It's not great. I'm curious as to why that is. Feels like we were in a pretty good position to be successful, but we are not scoring at all. Oh, wow, what a surprise. The best players in the region are corners and receivers. It's fairly typical, I would say. It's every single draft. DK Metcalf's going to be a free agent. We actually need to give him his contract then. I thought it would have been pre-programmed into the roster with his team change and his number change, but maybe you can't do it outside of franchise. And we don't know exactly how it breaks down per year, but basically it's a 4-year deal worth $132 million. That's an average salary of $33 million per year here, according to Spotrac. It's going to be an $18 million cap hit. We'll see if we can recreate that in the game. Do want to extend Minkah Fitzpatrick as well. He's from New Jersey. How did I not know that? Joey Porter Jr., definitely want him back. Only 26 years old. I would give him a 5-year deal. It's like 10 or 11 million per year. It really isn't too bad. 60 million left. Patrick Queen's up to an 87 overall. Another guy I would like to hold on to. I would say, yeah, I'm okay with a 4-year deal for him. I'd be more comfortable with a 3-year deal, but I think he's going to want a 4-year, unfortunately. Keanu Benton, I think, deserves a long-term extension. He gets really expensive, though, but he should still be getting better. So a 5-year deal, about $16 million per year, I think is going to be quite nice. We are going to trade Beanie Bishop. I would like to keep Darnell Washington, to be honest. We have $32 million left. Obviously, the DK Metcalf extension has cut into our cap room a lot, but thankfully we were really conservative, not signing anybody, and we actually have a little bit of room to work with. Washington's not going to be worth like up to $7 million per year for me, so no. Well, I can't really believe I can in a way, but I can't believe we're playing so badly, and we don't have a first-round pick either, so that's not great. Beanie Bishop and a future one gets me back into this draft. I'm getting the Chargers' first-round pick. I thought we'd be a lot better by this point, but we obviously are not performing in simulation, just creating a lot of problems. Patrick Queen is now back on a 4-year deal. Tried to give him that 3-year extension, wasn't really interested. Herbig is like somewhat affordable, but I honestly would like overpay him for 1 year and then look to trade him, or maybe even keep him around, I guess. So we're going to overpay him for a 1-year extension. Maybe I can do the same for Darnell Washington. I do kind of want him on the team, but I just know that a backup tight end really doesn't do anything for your team success in simulation. But we are going to bring him back. Down to $15 million. That rookie quarterback gives us a lot of flexibility, but it's still, I mean, we're not winning. Well, we're getting on a nice little streak here. We're up to 3-6 with an 89 overall team. That offense is just really struggling. We beat the Raiders 13-0. If our defense doesn't play lights out, seems like we have no chance. We just allowed 52. Okay. We finish 6-11. The 28th best offense in the league. And all we need to do to have a good offense is change the playbook to an offense that's good in simulation. That's pretty much going to be it. I mean, the team's really, really good as Calvin Austin continues to dominate from the slot. Our defense is pretty good. They're just not getting any help. No double-digit sacks on this team. We're basically forcing no turnovers either. That's a bad recipe for success. I think that's probably why you come out and win just 6 games. So we're going to be hiring new coordinators, which is not a function or a feature of the game, I should say. We're going to be changing the playbooks. I'm going to do something that works on offense and something that works on defense. It might take rearranging the team, but if the team actually becomes good as a result, we've got to do it. Packers-Bills Super Bowl. The Bills get there first as Josh Allen wins MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Offensive Player of the Year. It's a very Bills-Josh Allen year here. Just winning everything. Everything possible, pretty much. Pick up the 5th-year option on Troy Fautanu. He's becoming one of the better young offensive linemen in the league. 26 years old, 85 overall. Does want to be here long-term, but we're going to pick up that 5th-year option for now. Chris Boswell, somebody we can re-sign in free agency. We are up to $39 million in salary cap. We might have a little bit of flexibility here. A little bit of flexibility if there's a good free agent, somebody that can be a big upgrade on this team, but we don't really have a ton of positions that need big upgrades. I'm looking at some good players here. Tyler Linderbaum wants to be here over playing with the Ravens. Kyle Hamilton wants to join over playing with the Ravens. Just not sure if we're going to be able to steal those guys away. You look at our team, I guess strong safety could be a position of need just because it is kind of a big upgrade. Are we missing something on the O-line? Why do I feel like we had a superstar dev player? I guess not. But defensively, Kyle Hamilton is a big upgrade. Minka is down from superstar to star. Walker had star. I guess Linderbaum would be an upgrade over Sayamalo, but he's a little light for a guard. And Frazier's a true center. But at 310, I think I could rationalize moving him over. TJ Watt down to a 91 overall. I need my corners to improve a little bit more than they're improving right now. A lot of teams want Kyle Hamilton. In order to get him, we are really going to need to up the offer. I would say Hamilton probably more important than Linderbaum for us. We have the number 1 offer, but Tyler Linderbaum does want to be here. That's the difference. We can just offer that. It's all of our money, but at least puts us in contention. Now, no one is offering on Brian Branch. Man, the Ravens here are losing everybody. Marlon Humphrey's gone. Devin Lloyd might be a good addition. But for the money, I'm happy with who we're going after. Another Raven, Trenton Simpson. Superstar dev, 26 years old. Ronnie Stanley, another Raven. They lost everybody. It's what paying a quarterback does. Lamar's gone. I am going to pull the offer on Linderbaum? I don't know. It might be the move. Because Elton Jenkins is here. He's way cheaper. He's still an upgrade, and he's also a guard. Of course, playing center with the Packers since they paid Aaron Banks. But let's offer on Elton Jenkins, and that just should be an insta-accept. Might even take the money down here a little bit because we have a little bit of wiggle room. And then that might let us offer on somebody else. Cap room's only $7 million now. I want to get a little bit more. That's a better offer. I would say, is there a way we can get everyone we want? I'm going to look to see if we can restructure or potentially even cut somebody. and that might help us out a little bit. It's Sayamalo. We would take a bit of a penalty, but he's down to a 77 overall. We'd be replacing him anyway with Elton Jenkins, so we're going to go ahead and release Isaac Sayamalo. That should free up a little bit of cap space. I think he was like the clear cut to make. Deshaun Elliott, I like him as a player. He's one of my favorite Longhorns. He was really incredible, but he's 30 years old. We are looking to replace him, and even if we don't get Kyle Hamilton, we can move one of those corners back to safety and probably be fine. Where else can we save a bit of money? I mean, Caden Ellis, who we just signed. Like, if we get Trenton Simpson, we don't really need Caden Ellis. We are going to be taking on a bit of a penalty. Another Texas Longhorn, Ryan Watts, I should probably cut. Tell you what I'm going to do, though. I am going to restructure TJ Watt. That adds money on the back end, but it gives us more flexibility now. And we could really go out and make a real run. I know we just won 6 games, but we've got our quarterback of the future in place. Let's build off that. And let's just steal these Ravens away. Devin Lloyd's an option, but for the price, I think Trenton Simpson is the best option. He's cheaper, he's younger, he's got a better dev trait. I kind of want to like do a full 5-bar offer, which is going to be like probably close to $15 million a year. 14.5 at its peak, but that should be a full 5-bar type offer, which puts us in a really good position to land a lot of these players. So we're going after Hamilton, Simpsons, and Jenkins in a good position to land all 3. We could offer on one more player potentially who actually is an upgrade here for us. We do need Chris Boswell back at some point, or Hook'em Horns, Dicker the kicker. Let me do that. Offer him a huge contract because it's a 7-year deal. We can take the money down and hopefully he ends up signing anyway. Otherwise, we can pivot. It's not the most important thing, but let's see who we get, if anybody. The big 3, Hamilton, Simpson, Jenkins, have all agreed to become Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a huge free agency for us. A 94 overall in Kyle Hamilton, big upgrade at strong safety. Trenton Simpson's an 84. Elton Jenkins is an 84 and might even move up, moving over to left guard. And then we'll see if we can get Cameron Dicker. Tyreek Hill is here. He's down to an 85 overall. But Cameron Dicker at some point, I'm hoping will accept. And we do get Cam Dicker as well. Hook him. I like the offense. We could use a 3rd tight end, maybe a 3rd running back. Could draft an offensive line. I don't know. The offense looks pretty good. It's kind of nitpicking a little bit. And then defensively, the D-line just needs to improve. That's it. They just need to develop a little bit, and morale's holding everybody back. But funnily enough, with all the corners we've drafted, corner is the biggest need on defense. How is that possible? No top 5 talents identified yet, and it's probably because they play the cornerback position, and we have not scouted any corners. So, per usual, I bet there's a 6'4" corner. I bet there's a bold guess that there will be a top 5 talent at cornerback. Call me crazy, but that's kind of where I'm leaning right now. We do have 2 A man coverage players, another 6'4" corner, 6'3" corner. All right. They've probably got to rework the way corners are in the draft, because you will occasionally see a 6'4" corner. A 6'4" corner is not impossible. They do exist. It's rare. One every few draft classes, maybe. It's becoming a little bit more popular nowadays. You don't really see a lot of 6'3" corners, though, either. It's mainly in like the 5'11" to 6'1" range nowadays. Something like that. You can be a little bit shorter, obviously. It's rare to get much taller than that. But anyway, it also, as I've said the entire video so far, it can't be just corners that are the best players in the draft every single draft. That isn't very fun to me. I love defense. I love seeing a corner be the highest rated player in the draft. Not every draft, though. Joey Bodden, the 6'4" corner out of Duke, is a top 5 talent at only 21 years old. He's got a lot of elite, good speed as well in there. Let's check out the other corners. So, okay. Yeah, Terry Bradshaw here, it's not his name, is a top 5 talent. Miles Stamer is a round 1 talent. So we can upgrade corner for sure if we want to do that. Not sure where Joey Boden's going to go. That might be a player we would have to trade up for, and we're picking at number 20. So I'm going to say we probably don't have a good shot to get him. Although, if he makes it to around 10, I could trade up 10 spots and make a move. Otherwise, we'll just end up taking the other top 5 talent at corner who looks obviously very good. So we're going to be great. There goes Boden at number 5. It was unlikely to happen, but we do have picks here if we want to make a move. I think a trade down could be in order. If you look at the actual like top talents in this draft, there are a couple of receivers we could consider, but I just don't know that we need to go that direction. We've got already 2 very good corner or receivers and Calvin Austin. This is a classic trade down spot. We are actually going to look to upgrade on the defensive line again. Braden Fisk is available for our first round pick. So we are just going to go out and get Braden Fisk. Now they're trying to offer day 3 picks. I don't really want those. What I do want to do is add in maybe Brian Brzee. We just extended Benton. Brzee, final year of his deal, expensive. I think this is a trade we can probably make, or we could just package Brzee in a different deal and maybe get a 3rd, and I would add it in a 4th or something to make this happen. Would not really be the end of the world. So let's go ahead and add in, let's do 2 5s to upgrade to a 3rd and a 4th in 2029. That trade is accepted. So it's an upgrade to get Braden Fisk, trying to make this run. But now, Brian Brzee is somebody we quite clearly want to trade. I will say it's a big upgrade. Could even consider moving Fisk over to defensive tackle, but I think he's going to be fine there. I still like Walker, and with Brzee's contract situation, I think it just makes sense to move off of him. So we'll see what the value we can get back is. We could upgrade at corner potentially. We could even go after like a top flight corner. And maybe that's the direction we should go. Although we're probably going to end up drafting a pretty good one. But I'm saying we get a truly elite corner. Like Brzee even in a 1st next year. First Jenkins superstar dev. A lot of good defensive tackles, but I don't want that. I want a really good corner. What we're going to do is move Brian Brzee over to defensive tackle, where I think he's going to be probably a better scheme fit for a lot of teams. And I think his overall might jump up from that 85 mark to maybe an 86, 87, and that should increase his value. Not sure D tackle is going to be quite as valuable as an end in this game, although it should be somewhat comparable when the overall is expected to jump up. And Brian Brzee is still an 85 overall at defensive tackle. Slightly disappointing. We are trading Brian Brzee a 3rd this year, a 1st next year, and a 5th for Christian Benford from the Buffalo Bills. It's a big upgrade at corner overall. He's got superstar X Factor. I feel like we can't just bring in good players anymore. If we're going to be one of the truly elite teams in the league, we need to go out and get truly elite players. So that was the mindset there. And with a fairly young superstar X Factor corner, he's only 26, and Christian Benford here, a little slower, but I feel like a great addition. CB1 on this team, obviously trading a lot to get that done, no question. But I do think it's a trade that needed to be made. So we are out of the 1st round now. We do have that 2nd round pick, and if that corner is available in round 2, that will end up being the selection here at number 40. And we could take a receiver as well, but Tommy Bradshaw is available. 21 years old, 6'4", 207. Ran 4.39 at his pro day. A-man, B-press, B-zone. He looks fantastic. Tommy Bradshaw is the number 1 ranked player in the draft. We took him at 40. And it's just that easy. Hidden dev, you'd hope so. That's all it takes. Just, hey, you want a top player in the draft? Just scout a corner. It's kind of all you need to do. And we'll simulate to the end. Tommy Bradshaw is a 78 overall. I guess it's probably going to be tied for the number 1 player in the draft. It's actually the only 78 overall player in the draft. There's another corner that went at the end of round 2. A left tackle at a 77 overall, kind of rare in this game. Followed up by 2 corners to make up that top 5. So of the top 5 players in this draft, 4 are corners, One is a left tackle, and I guess there's a free safety that's tied for that 77 overall. So, yeah, okay. Also, we're going to sign Roshan Johnson. Horns up. It's a good third running back for us, I suppose. Good short yardage goal line back for us. And we will simulate to the regular season. I'm hopefully going to see this team move to the playoffs. In order to do so, Chiefs offensive playbook, it's just what's going to have to happen. Pat Freiermuth will become the best tight end in the NFL, if not of all time. And we are actually going to play well. The O-line is great. The receivers are great. The running back quarterback combo is, or should be, very good. But again, like the lower overall running backs just do not perform in simulation. And when I say lower overall, if you're not like a 90, out 3.6 yards per carry, great season. We lose week 1 to the Niners 28-27. Oh boy. Do I need to move to a 4-3? Usually the Steelers defense just performs better in sim. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to move Highsmith to defensive end. Or why would it be organized like this? What are we doing? Okay, maybe that's a problem. Well, we are 3-4 at the midseason mark. We could still very easily make the playoffs. The defense sucks. The offense really isn't even performing that well. It's a 92 overall team. 92. The Titans are 4-3. I get playing a different schedule, but they're an 84. I've really got to move this team to a 4-3. At 3-4, to me, I just never get it to simulate well, ever. Even when I'm with the Steelers, who simulate well, usually, defensively. That's dumb. Yes, a midseason formation change is ridiculous. I'm tired of losing. And I've said, it's more about the building of the team rather than the direct results. But I do want to see some results. We could be a playoff team. All right, the 4-3 is in place. And now we're going to be good. It's really that simple. All right, hopefully playoff team with a 4-3 change. Otherwise, we'll be headed to another season, which, I mean, I like the team, but I'd like to see some results here at some point. And we do go 12-5. It really is that simple. It's really frustrating because I would like the team to make way more of an impact than it does. It's so playbook oriented as Tony Barkley throws for over 4,100 yards, 42 touchdowns, just 7 picks. Still don't have that running game going yet because George Davis is not yet to a 90 overall. So he seems like trash, but we just need to develop him. It's amazing how this game works and functions as well with the sim logic. George Pickens lit it up in the slot. Calvin Austin still finds his way into 10 touchdowns. DK Metcalf with 9. And then defensively, 126 tackles, 6 for loss for Trenton Simpson. We had 3 players with double-digit sacks. Braden Fisk led the way, 11 for Highsmith, 10 for TJ Watt. Christian Benford with 6 interceptions, 5 for Kyle Hamilton. This is significantly better. The offense may be still struggling slightly, but the 10-7 Browns are an 87 overall. All right, let's see if we can beat them. Or we go up early 7-14-0. Now, there's no Steelers logo here, by the way. It's just the NFL logo. Is that typically what that looks like? 17-11. This is a bizarre score. Although we do have the ball. 3rd down and 6. Let's turn shoe clock on. And we are going to need a first down. DK Metcalf, probably the first read here. We're going to throw him the football. There's DK Metcalf, makes the catch. And that should ultimately do it. Browns out of timeouts. We can go into victory formation here, and Barkley does kneel down the football. Dude, why is there no logo? It's bizarre. Only the NFL logo. Maybe we have the NFL Roger Goodell backing this Steelers team. Maybe that's all that means. George Davis is 12 carries for 30 yards. Shoe clock can't work quickly enough. Watch us fumble, and the Browns return it to the house for a touchdown. Or George Davis with a gain of 6. Explosive run here. One of our best career runs for George Davis. However, we beat the Browns in the wild card because it's the Browns in the playoffs. It was never going to happen. But Bengal, the Steelers lost to the Browns in the wild card just a few years ago. Shut up. Steelers, Jets, the Justin Fields Bowl. The Jets went 11-6. I imagine Justin Fields is their starting quarterback here. Nope, he's not. They've got a superstar X Factor named Whitfield. More NFL logo here. Jets up 7, now 14-0, 17-0, 20-0, 20-34-0. Okay. Well, we're headed to another season. Tony Barkley had 0 touchdowns, 20 yards passing, and 2 interceptions. He went 2 of 12 for 20 yards. All right. Saints beat the Jets 24-21 in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes wins league MVP, and the Saints quarterback Lane Robinson wins Super Bowl MVP. No Steelers to speak of. Why is this team so bad? I mean, I guess we did go 12-5, but I don't know. We're still losing a lot, mostly, and we just lost 34-0 in the wild card. $55 million in available salary cap. Need to bring back Broderick Jones. Peyton Wilson's a maybe, but probably not. George Davis, Braden Fisk, Zach Frazier, Alex Highsmith. We picked up the 5th-year option on Tony Barkley. We are not going to be able to afford this. Highsmith himself is $27.5 million. Braden Fisk is going to have to walk. Frazier is fairly expensive as well. He returns, though, $44 million. We may have to restructure. We're going to pick up the 5th-year option on George Davis. How expensive is Peyton Wilson going to be? $10 million? We might be able to swing that, actually. He's going to test free agency. I think we're probably just going to let him. I would love to franchise tag. Oh, Broderick Jones is affordable. I'd love to franchise. He wants to play for a new team next year. Why? Franchise tag is $28 million on Broderick Jones. I wanted to franchise tag Braden Fisk. Well, he wants $30 million. So that is not going to happen, obviously. But we still are probably going to franchise tag him. I've got to restructure somebody. Austin will walk. We do need to bring back Mason McCormick if we can. 5-year deal for him. He's going to also test free agency. All right. We're in a bit of a bad spot here. We might actually have to just offer Alex Highsmith a deal to try and keep some talent on this team. So Alex Highsmith returns. We have $17 million. We can keep one of Braden Fisk or Broderick Jones. Fisk is $30 million, but is more valuable than Broderick Jones, I would say. So we are going to tag him. It's like $40 million. We go super negative, and we just won't have a left tackle, and we won't really have a way to get a good one. Okay, so we need a guard and a tackle. We have multiple needs on the O-line. Really not great. And then defensively, we, I think, are fine at linebacker, even though Jordan is not really a good fit. We have Fisk for another year, although it's probably in our best interest to just trade him if we can. So I think we should probably look to do that. We still don't even have the money to be able to afford this, but we need to use this to upgrade somewhere. It might even be Braden Fisk for an offensive tackle, because we have 2 good D tackles. Why did I tag Fisk? Because I thought he actually had the most value. So Braden Fisk might be able to get us an offensive line. Like, he could give us 2 good offensive linemen. We just need to trade something else because we don't have the money. I don't know where we're going to find that. What we're going to have to do is probably restructure, trade Fisk, and we're going to go ahead and restructure Kyle Hamilton. And then who's like close to expiring here? Braden Fisk, we obviously can't restructure. It's the tag. But Alex Highsmith probably. So we are going to work towards clearing a little bit of money. We're going to be in a tough situation if we don't trade Fisk. He's good, but the whole reason we tagged him was so we can trade him. And that's what we need to do. He's ridiculously expensive. Okay, we are making an unreal trade here. Braden Fisk, Jason Thomas, our 3rd receiver, a 1st and a 2nd for Zion Johnson and Joe Alt. It's a big upgrade overall to our offensive line. Alt is on a 1-year deal, so obviously that's going to make it pretty tough for us to keep him long term. But again, it's a huge upgrade on the O-line. Johnson is even an upgrade over McCormick. We actually managed to upgrade over Broderick Jones significantly as well. So we are kind of going all in here. But the team is amazing. We should be able to actually profit off of this trade and be an easy playoff team. There's some good free agents available, I'll tell you that. But we can't afford any of them. Trevin Wallace maybe is the best we can do to get another linebacker in the room. So let's see if we can offer on him. He probably will end up accepting. And he'll be a Steeler. He is. Well, we don't pick until the 3rd round here, so it's going to be tough to really improve the team. We'll see if we can identify any talent. There is a round 1 wide receiver, and I kind of wanted a receiver anyway. He's a slot type, which is a good replacement for Calvin Austin. Easy pickup. Mac Nelson is a Steeler. He's ranked number 22. We took him at 92. That is a haircut, huh? He's really holding on to the dreads. That is a look. He's 21. Okay, well, all right. He's got 93 speed, normal development. He's going to work in the slot. That's fine. Mac Nelson is a 75 overall. We pick up a backup quarterback as well. Some decent depth down the board here. That's fine. This is going to be the team. Davis is going to be playing up to a 90 overall, so he's actually going to be effective now. I swear this is how it works. It's insane, but he will actually be good now probably. Our corners are fantastic. Our linebackers are fairly solid. I like the D-line. It's time to actually be productive. Things look very good. Why would Flo be in the slot? No. Where's Mac? We've got our rookie slot receiver. He's going to dominate. Mac Nelson. Although, we stick DK Metcalf in there, see if he can't produce. Mac Nelson will be an option, and we will simulate to the midseason mark where I expect at least 5 wins. It's a 92 overall team. The AFC North is like, it's up for grabs this season. We're 5-5. The Ravens are 5-5. The Bengals are sitting at 7-3. Our offense is pretty good. The defense is really not playing that well, though. That's kind of the big difference right now. Simulating to the playoffs, we've got a chance to get in. It's obviously not a given, but again, you got to kind of appreciate the actual talent of this team. I think we're going to end up making it, and we do limp into the playoffs. 10-7, Texans 10-7. Although we're not red hot right now. We lose to the Commanders 35-34, 25-24 to the Jags. Back-to-back 1-point losses. We're in the playoffs, though. It doesn't matter. Just all that matters is we made it. Now we can go on a run. Doesn't matter. We lost the last 2 games going in. Tony Barkley with a great season. George Davis was finally good. No fumbles on 255 attempts. DK goes over 1,000, as does Pat Freiermuth, as does George Pickens. 11 touchdowns, by the way, as well, for, I don't even know how he's playing. Felix Lowe. Defensively, Trenton Simpson with 125 tackles. Jeff Walker, 13.5 sacks. Although the ends really didn't do a whole lot. Byron Hurts had 5 interceptions. Although, I've said it. All we had to do was make it here. And if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. This is New York. No, this is Pittsburgh. We're going to Houston, playing the Texans. It's a winnable game, but they're tough. And we're also, the Texans are NFL logo. So I guess I have a franchise save with no team logos. Well, actually, maybe it's for the home team or something. I don't know, because we have the Steelers logo now. It's 29-22. Oh, and that's the game. That is the final. I was going to back out and try to win it for us. Didn't need to have that happen. 29-22. Tony Barkley throws 3 touchdowns, completing over 70% of his passes. We're moving on to the divisional. Chiefs in the divisional. They also went 10-7. Beat the Jets 35-14. That doesn't bode well for us, considering how we played the Jets in the playoffs last year, which we didn't really. Mahomes, Leo Chanel's a superstar X Factor now. This is going to be a tough game on the road. Although, it's not on the road. I was about to say we were in our black uniforms. We are home. And again, we are back to the NFL logo. See if we can beat the Chiefs and Mahomes. We're up 10-0 instantly. Fantastic start. Chiefs answer with a touchdown. Seems like they're about to get a little bit hot here. We got to find the end zone again. We're only up by 13-7. 19-7 now. Chiefs with a touchdown. And we have under 2 minutes to play. The Chiefs have turned over the football 3 times. And that's probably the difference here. Chiefs with 1 timeout. First down absolutely ends it. He's got to stay in bounds. Chiefs call their final timeout. All we need to do is not turn over the football. I mean, getting into field goal range more solidly could be good. There's George Davis with speed, though, and George Davis gets the first. They're trying to hold him up, go for that football. They're not going to be able to do it. That will be the game. We have beat the Chiefs in the divisional, and we'll be headed back to the AFC Championship. Barkley takes a knee, and we will be 1 win away from a Super Bowl. The 7th in Steelers history if we can just win 2 more games. Steelers Chargers. They're going to have Braden Fisk. We have Zion Johnson and Joe Alt, of course. This is kind of a fun matchup. They went 13-4 with an 85 overall team. Okay. They also have Tyler Linderbaum, and we'll try to beat him. And here we go. Chargers up early, but we're going to tie things up at 7. Approaching halftime into the 3rd quarter now. Steelers take the lead 14-7. Chargers tie it right back up. It's 4th and inches from the 40, and they want us to punt. No. We're going to run right at Braden Fisk, and we're going to move these chains. Joe Alt blocking for him, and there goes George Davis. Now averaging 3 yards per carry. He's been nearly unstoppable this game. Let's get creative with it. George Pickens in motion. Okay, they read that fairly well. It's a huge loss. Tony Barkley is 105 yards passing. We should be able to get a snap off here prior to the 2-minute warning. We're just going to hit the running back. There's George Davis. Big spin move for Davis. And we're going to get a lot of that back. Even if we don't convert here, and I think this should probably be 4-down territory, it's a better punt for us than we were. I mean, we gained 8 yards by going for it. But we will try and convert. And that is George Pickens making the catch. I thought he was going to sit down. Playing against zone defense, why is he not sitting down and making the catch in the open field? He runs into coverage, and that nearly kills us. But George Pickens, obviously, great hands. And we are moving into field goal range. That's all we need. All we need is 3. Chargers starting to call timeouts. They have 1 remaining. Ooh, kind of a weird spot here. I do want to bounce it outside to try and pick up the first. That makes the kick a little bit tougher. Chargers 1 timeout left. If they get the stop here, they're going to have over a minute. And all they need is 3 to tie. We're going to try and pick up the first. Davis has great speed. Just got to get there. He's going to be short. 4th and inches. 1:08 to play. I think we try and get this. I form. Lead dive. We've got the O-line. Got a fullback into the backfield. This is a bold call. I get it. Because you can take the lead here in the AFC Championship. But you give the Chargers and Justin Herbert a lot of time to answer. We play for the win. And we are not going to get it. All right. We'll have to play defense. Chargers just need 3. Worst case scenario is not getting that there. And that's where we are living here. That's got to be a pick! It's picked off by Christian Benford! Oh no, maybe they were right about Justin Herbert. First throw back is an interception to lose the AFC Championship. Hey, I'm not complaining. That ball's going to come out a lot earlier. We just need like 20 yards. Maybe not even that. It should be fairly easy. There's George Pickens. Not a great throw, but he makes the catch. His 5th. Shoe clock on. We're going to take this inside 20 seconds. We're going to line it up. We're going to kick the game-winning field goal. Or there are great blocks. Where was this on the 4th and short? I know he didn't really play to his strength by, running up the middle. We're going to call a timeout probably at 8 seconds. Going to try and center this thing. And we should be moving to the Super Bowl. All we have to do is not fumble. That's it. That should be good enough. We're going to take a timeout at 2 seconds. It's a 31-yard chip shot field goal. Cameron Dicker against his former team. He doesn't miss these. That was nearly blocked, but he doesn't miss these. 17-14. The Steelers have made it back to the Super Bowl. See if we can pick up a 7th Lombardi trophy. Giants, Steelers. I'm actually not even mad if we lose this. I say we. I might be Team Giants here. We're 94 overall. This is the team for the Super Bowl. We've managed to win these playoff games. We've made it all the way here. We have Barkley playing up to a 99 overall. And if I see one comment about this is how Barkley and the Giants are in the Super Bowl, I'll scream. I'll scream at the top of my lungs in a crowded place. Anyway, Steelers, Giants for a Super Bowl. Malik Neighbors, superstar dev, love to see it. Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, superstar X Factor. But our quarterback, Barkley, will be the X Factor here in Tampa. I don't want to play one by one. Here at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, it is Steelers, Giants. We're up 7-0 early, 14-0. Giants made it all the way here, and they won only 9 games. This is classic Giants Super Bowl run. But in the end, okay, this is actually getting somewhat close. Their quarterback is Bernard Samuels, wearing that number 12. Giants are driving. Tyrone Tracy out in space. Giants are getting funky here. Everyone was open. Samuels has been picked off twice. He didn't look like what I expected him to, but that's okay. 120. Interception here, and we are Super Bowl champions. Big tackle. 3rd and 4. Kind of want to blitz here. The Giants are taking time off the clock. We are going to start calling timeouts depending on what happens here. Throw over the middle. Giants call a timeout down to the 1. This is not bad, though. If they score a touchdown, it's going to be fine. We're going to have like 30 seconds to get into field goal range. I'd like to save a timeout. Oh, good pressure. Quarterback goes down. Giants forced to call a timeout. That was Jordan. That draft pick looking pretty good when he's making plays like that. Okay, I really actually don't like this formation. Giants going to the flat quickly. We're going to keep them in bounds. Giants forced to call their final timeout. Let's get out of goal line, I would say. 3rd and goal from the 6. Trenton Simpson just keep the middle of the field occupied. Take up space. Force a mistake. Giants to the end zone. It's incomplete. Porter and Fitzpatrick in coverage. Big Blue with one more shot. Everything on the line. We are going to play the sticks. We're going to QB contain. And a shot to the end zone. It's intercepted by Trenton Simpson. Easy reads. The cat in the hat. Easy reads to end it. The free agent pickup, Trenton Simpson, will win the Steelers a 7th Super Bowl ring. 7 rings of steel. Giants out of timeouts. Could be victory formation here. I don't know why it's not. Oh, I didn't mean to dive. Tried to give ourselves up. Okay. Either way, that will do it. Big defensive play when it mattered most. And the Steelers have won it again. They stand alone with the most Super Bowl rings in the history of the NFL. And man, Ravens fans watching this video, Kyle Hamilton winning a Super Bowl with the Steelers. Trenton Simpson with the game-winning play. That's tough. But you know what? The Ravens have beat the Giants in the Super Bowl before, so that's something maybe. I don't know. That doesn't do anything. Mike Tomlin has done the impossible. Steelers fans don't think he's got any business ever making a Super Bowl. He wins 9 games a year, and that's it. But here, Super Bowl champ. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.